Internet? It's your boy, Wülf Boi here. Welcome to the first ever episode of Wülf Boi Reviews. The title is a work in progress, I swear. It's time for a review of the new SSK album, The Jungle. SSK is a little-known internet rapper, mostly known on YouTube. He only has about 80 subs at the time of recording this video, but he is my friend and my peer in the semi-local internet raposphere. So I thought I would make this video partially to give him some extra exposure and also just to voice some of my constructive criticism and thoughts on his new album. I hope this video will become a series where I can talk about other local rappers that I know, as well as big projects that come out, and who knows, maybe I'll review something other than music. So, listening to this album, I'd say the first thing that struck me is SSK is a really good lyricist. Like, really insanely good for someone who is just starting out and doesn't have a lot of experience. Right from the first actual track after the intro, the multi-syllable rhymes on this thing blew my mind. I could practically hear MF Doom jerking it to this song off in the distance. Like, yeah, that good. While some of the other tracks after Let Me In didn't have that same level of wordsmithing, they still were very emotional and were still pretty high quality. I'd say the song Why Would I Say Goodbye is a highlight. The bars on that are really emotional, really evocative, and they tell a pretty good story. Not only are the lyrics pretty good, but SSK can write some pretty sticky hooks. The next thing that struck me, unfortunately, was the delivery. SSK has a good voice for rapping. He's got a pretty nice bassy voice, but unfortunately there's this lack of projection throughout the whole project. It's almost whisper-like at times, and I don't think that's intentional on most of these tracks. Also, kind of tangential to the delivery is SSK's flow. As he shows on the song Gotta Go Fast, which is pretty self-explanatory, SSK can rap pretty fast. And he also can be pretty versatile with his flows. He switches it up from every couple of bars. A lot of the flows on this album are pretty catchy as well, but occasionally, especially when he's going faster, there are some moments where SSK kind of stumbles over his words a little bit. I would attribute this to lack of breath control, and I think it just shows that SSK mainly just needs to practice this a little bit more. On this album, his flow is definitely above average, but it's not quite there to being amazing yet. Back on the topic of the delivery, there's one thing on this album that I hate to say it, but I just really didn't enjoy it all. It's the singing. I'm gonna be honest, SSK, he calls out auto-tune rappers a couple of times on this album, but I think some auto-tune could have done him some good. His singing is kind of pitchy. It's a little warbly, you know. There are a couple of songs where it comes together alright. I'd say on the track The Jungle, the title track, the kind of warbly singing combined with the kind of whispery delivery actually totally works. It makes the song sound atmospheric and creepy. He also layers it with actual whispered vocals, which makes it sound kind of demonic and creepy. It totally works. But on other songs, it just sounds off-key. While there could have been some auto-tune, I will say the effects on the vocals are actually pretty interesting. There's a lot of spacey delays and reverbs, as well as some reverse reverb effects that I really like. I like that attention to detail. Unfortunately, the vocals that don't have the reverb effects on them kind of sound a little dry. And that's also partly because the vocals are mixed up really high on this album. I would say that if the vocals were mixed down a little bit and just a smaller amount of reverb was applied to them consistently, this would sound great. But as it is now, it sounds pretty good. Speaking of mixing, the vocals being mixed very high also makes some of the beats and the choruses on those beats sound a little off. There's a lot of sampled choruses on this album, like in the song but the chorus is so much quieter than the rapped vocals and it's kind of jarring when they transition. Aside from that though, the beats, phenomenal on this project. Well, of course you like the production on this album. You produced a song on this album. Okay, so yes, I did produce one of the songs on this album. In an effort to stay unbiased, I will not talk about the beat that I made. I will just talk about all of the stuff I didn't produce. All the other beats, I quite enjoyed. I liked a lot of the trappy instrumentation on a lot of them. I liked the poppy choruses. I also really dig the song Middle Fingers Up because it's really not dark. It's got this light, happy, jazzy piano, which totally complements the chorus about giving people the double bird.
Middle fingers up, 'cause I don't give a
It's just so happy. There are a few things production-wise that I thought sounded a little janky, like the guitar and strings in Lost in Translation sound very MIDI sounding, like they're not real instruments, which I don't think they are. They just sound like FL Studio instruments. As well, there's this wonky synth that comes into the chorus of Curtain Call that it just sounds tinny and off to me. But even on those beats, I like them for the majority. It's just those parts. Definitely, the production is one of the strongest points on this album. So how do all of these songs come together as a whole project? I'd say pretty well. For a first attempt, I think this is pretty phenomenal. All the lyrics address a cohesive set of themes and the songs work well together. If I had to criticize one thing, I'd say that the order of the songs seems kind of random. Specifically, the song Middle Fingers Up is sandwiched between two of the darkest sounding songs on the album, and it's just a really weird juxtaposition to go from really dark and depressing to happy, lighthearted to literal Satan. I'm not even joking. I think the song Gotta Go Fast totally could have been cut. It basically boils down to just SSK bragging about how well he raps. Also, while I think the beat on it is fine, there's this part in the intro where it samples the Sonic X theme song. Get it? Because he's gotta go fast. But he just plays it over the instrumental without time stretching it to match the tempo or changing the pitch or anything. It's just there, it clashes, it sounds bad. It's not good. But other than that, it all comes together pretty well, especially for a first project. I give this album a 6.0 out of 10. If you like really good lyricism and don't mind some shaky production values and delivery, then this album is definitely for you. Go check it out. I will put a link down in the description and on screen over here. And let me know if you want to see more of these videos. Let me know if there's a album you want me to review. In the meantime, look out for the Quell Loft review. I'm trying my damnedest, but I cannot manage.